Hello, welcome back to the channel. We're at Hosey Common on the Squerryes estate, and we're in the woodland part, the wooded part of the estate, across from what's known as the Squerryes Park, which is where Squerryes Court, the manor house, is, which the Ward family have resided in for something like over 300 years. But we've come up to a part of the estate that's been forgotten, and it's somewhat shrouded in a bit of mystery as to what and why, and what the future holds. So we'll walk up to that and we'll have a bit of a peek. To the east of us is Sevenoaks, to the west is Oxted, to the North Downs, Biggin Hill, Tatsfield, and to the south is Edenbridge. So we're actually quite high here on the estate, and that's for a very good reason of why what we're going to look at is here. So that tree behind me isn't a tree, so we're going to have a look at that. So as you can see, there's brickwork, and this, it looks like a tree at first glance. You could walk past it. If you wasn't concentrating, you wouldn't even realise there's actually a building behind it. Now we're in a part of the estate, of the Squerryes estate, called Tower Wood. So that's the giveaway of what lays in there. But not a huge building, but some years ago they bricked up some of the entrances, but as you look up you can see where floor joists would have been, rooms up there to the tower, and then here we see evidence of a chimney, and the actual fireplace itself used for heating this space, cooking and entertaining. It was actually used by the family for entertaining and parties. There was possibly some pheasant hunting, deer, etc. But then it fell very quickly. It was discarded and fell into ruin. So the earliest reference to the tower was by a man called John Colburn, who wrote a piece in A New Guide to Tunbridge Wells, where he says there is a place in the village Westerham called Tower Wood near Hosey Common, which was built by the then Lord of the Manor, John Ward, for the purpose of obtaining an unobstructed view of St Paul's, London. But given where we are and the fact that facing north in the direction that we are, you've got the North Downs in the way, and it's very unlikely, given the fact that they are higher than this point, thereabouts, or as high, that even from up there at the tower that a clear view could have been attained. It was a bit of a failure because London actually, once you go over the top of the downs, is much lower. But in his account we get a sort of picture that we know the Ward's family bought the estate in 1731, and they indeed did build this tower. But it was until a letter that was found that basically said and gave them an idea when they wrote this in 2009, doing the study of actually what this was used for. The letter was written by Mary Ward in 1741, where she writes to thank an aunt for visiting the estate, and she mentions parties and lighting where this would have been lit up, and food was brought up from the main house and drink, and they celebrated here. And it's quite significant because of that date, because shortly after, no more than 100 years after, this fell into complete ruin and has been left ever since. But I find it an interesting place, and as I say, we've walked our dogs here many times, and there's not huge amounts of it. There's loads of pictures of it on Visit Westerns groups on social media, but the study, which I put a link to, that was carried out by permission of the Ward family, is very intensive and actually shows some measurements they did, architectural measurements, and a survey they did of the building, and with documents to back it up, of letters and dates, monies that are noted down in records that was spent to obviously build it. So there we have it. It's an interesting tower, vague history, but as I say, some of the sort of mentions of King Henry and royalty, but I say there's maps around the late 1700s, 1800s, early 1800s that actually show the tower here in Tower Wood, but then some maps it disappears. But the fact that it's called Tower Wood, you know, gives the clue away as to what's here. But it's worth a little visit. It's not much to see now. The ivy covers it, most of it, and it's eaten into the brickwork. The brickwork itself was mined locally in the Western Caves. I'd love to go and visit them, but they're gated off and you can't get in them. Not that I know of, but this whole landscape is so hilly on the estate, and it's terrific for walking around the park. Wonderful. But down there is the source of my next video I'm going to be doing. I'll probably have to do that over 3 parts or 4 parts even, because of the distance I'm going to have to travel. And it's all going to start from right at the base of this hill and end up on the River Thames. So there's a little bit of a clue. Okay, thanks for watching my videos, or our videos. Come on, Evie. And we'll hopefully get the next video out as soon as I can. And see you next time.